Hey guys, welcome to Rich with Cars. I'm Rich. Today on Rich with Cars, I'm gonna go over a car that I've kind of reviewed before, but of course this is the upper trim level of the Porsche Taycan. Here behind me I have a Porsche Taycan Turbo, not the Turbo S. There's a slight difference between the Turbo and Turbo S, which is in terms of horsepower. Nonetheless, this is a very, very powerful and highly regarded EV from Porsche. Of course, as you guys probably know, I've already done a review on the Porsche Taycan, which was the base model, but this is the all-wheel drive version turbo, which has a tremendous amount of horsepower and a few extra goodies that I'll show you guys later on in the review. Since I've already done a review on this car, I'm not gonna go over all the stuff, but I wanted to show you guys a little bit of the differences between the base version and the turbo. So as always guys, let's strap in and let's take a look. So this Porsche Taycan Turbo comes with a few extras in the exterior, namely the front fascia, which is the sport design front fascia option, which has this little extra painted area here at the bottom and maybe a little bit of extra here also all across the bottom of the vehicle. This color is called ice gray metallic. Very, very nice. It's sort of like an off-white gray, very similar to like a Nardo gray, but I believe this is more of a metallic color. So it's got, if you guys can notice, or if it comes through the camera, it's got some metallic flakes in it, but it's very, very similar to the Nardo gray. The most notable option that this Porsche Taycan Turbo has are the Mission E wheels. And these wheels are the wheels that basically came with the concept vehicle Mission E, which they also decided to put onto the Taycan once it became into production. But this particular one is super cool because it's got that color over there is the same color as the body color on the vehicle. So really, really nice touch on the wheels. Aside from that, there's not much else that will tell this car apart from a regular Taycan in terms of being the turbo. This also does have the really cool feature for the charge port, which is the automatic charge port. So if you slide your finger under over here, it should open it up. So it's a little gimmicky, but really cool nonetheless. And then if you want to close it, same thing. And the cool thing about it is that you have the exact same charge port on both sides of the vehicle in the front. You have some black trim around the windows. You have the model or the trim designation, which is the Taycan Turbo. This particular one has it in black. And then of course, it's got the added option, I don't know if it comes through, of having this sort of like in a clear finish. At the rear, you'll see some body color towards the lower diffuser area as well. So all in all, you can't really tell what the difference is. You know, that's one thing that I wasn't too crazy about the Taycan from the different trim levels, is that you can't really tell much of a difference between a regular base Taycan, for example, like the one that I've already reviewed, and an upper trim level like this one, the Turbo. It would have been nicer to have a few differences to denote one trim level versus the other. And of course, let's not forget, you have the daytime running lights with the 4 dots, which is a signature light design from Porsche. Opening the doors, we'll see that there's not much to see a difference between a regular Taycan base and a Taycan Turbo, except for, of course, the door sill designation where you can see Taycan Turbo. And then this particular model does have the upgraded Burmeister audio system. And of course, we got the same seats that we had on the base. And these seats are 14-way power, so it gives you quite a bit of adjustability. I do like the fact that on the headrest over here, it's all sort of like interconnected, sort of like a one piece. That's a really, really nice touch. Gives it a sportier sort of look to the interior vehicle. We have basically the same thing as the base. This particular model, which is a turbo, does have the Sport Chrono package, which will show you this sort of like analog clock. We have the gauge cluster over here, which doesn't really have a binnacle around it. It's sort of just like a floating gauge cluster, which is really, really nice with a thin bezel that goes all the way around. And then you have the steering wheel, which is basically the same as a base Taycan. And then you have your different drive modes, which are basically range, which is eco, normal, sport, sport plus, and then of course individual. The different drive modes will change a lot of different features or variables in the vehicle, including the vehicle ride height. If you see that icon over there, that means that the vehicle is actually changing in height, and it's lowering as we speak right now. And then one huge notable feature that this has is the additional passenger screen, which in my opinion is gimmicky. It just basically repeats the exact same information that you see on the center infotainment screen and just basically puts it in front of the passenger to allow them to have more flexibility in terms of adjusting the different options in the vehicle. You have this area over here which is dedicated to the HVAC system. It does have a few shortcut buttons like your trunk, front, and different openings for the vehicle. We got a couple cup holders very similar to the base Taycan, and then this is a repeat once again of the base Taycan. I wanted to see if this one had the same thing, and apparently it does. I still don't understand, and I would really be curious if anybody can comment below and let me know why Porsche decided to do this, or if I'm wrong, because when I basically bring center console cover up, it doesn't stay. So I bring it up, it doesn't stay. So I find that's extremely annoying, because if you want to try to get something, you have to keep it open with your arm or your forearm or something so that it doesn't get in the way. I find that's extremely annoying. I don't know why Porsche did that. You do have this massive panoramic roof that spans the entire roof of the vehicle, and it's, you know, it gives it an open, airy feeling, but I would still prefer something that you can close over here. You do have Alcantara headliner. So this one particularly goes for, let's see, 182,790. Quite expensive. If you want the extra horsepower, then yes, you have to go for this. Otherwise, you can just get the same options on a lower trim level Taycan. So right now the Taycan is on the highest level of the ride height, and I'm gonna put it on the lowest so that you guys could get to see how low it goes from its highest point. And now it's lowering. And now it just finished lowering. So that's the amount of time it takes from the highest point to the lowest point when you're lowering the ride height of the Porsche Taycan Turbo. So one little annoying thing that I noticed every time I try to get into the Taycan, especially on the driver's side, is when you're trying to get in, there's this little, I guess, trim area over here that if you're not careful, you're always gonna get to hit your knee or your shin. So like I've hit my shin, I've hit my knee when I've gone in like this. So you guys can see over there that it could become a little bit of an annoyance when you're trying to get into the vehicle. All right guys, so here in the Porsche Taycan Turbo, I do like the feel, the sitting position in this Taycan Turbo. It does feel quite sporty, especially if it's considering it's a sedan. First thing that I notice now compared to the base Taycan is the noise that you get, if you guys can hear it. Gives it a very sort of futuristic feel. I do have the vehicle right now in Sport Plus mode, so let's give it a little bit of the beans to see how it feels. Oh my god. Yep. It's very fast. It's not uber stiff. So this, let's say compared to my M5 that I had before, it is a little bit more compliant. It's not as stiff, and it does feel very confidence inspiring, despite the fact that this car is quite heavy. I'll give you guys the numbers on the screen in terms of what those numbers look like in terms of the weight. But you know, given the fact that it's an EV, It's probably, I would say, closer to the 5,000 pound weight, and it does feel very, very, very good. And very planted too. Let's not forget that you do have the majority of the weight at the bottom of the vehicle because of the battery packs. Steering feel, you don't get to feel what's on the road. It's quite numb, but it still doesn't communicate, but it still actually is very responsive. Wow, 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 wow. Yeah, I just passed everybody here like as if it's nothing. Now brake feel though, I'm pressing on the brakes and it's pretty good. I mean, it doesn't feel like an analog vehicle. I'm not sure what kind of brakes. I would assume these are brake by wire, most likely, and there's also probably some regenerative braking that's involved as well. The brake feel on the turbo is quite progressive and pretty linear. Like it's, let's just say that I do have to press a little bit more on the brakes to get more of that brake feel. Yeah, it just honestly the acceleration on this is just absolutely incredible. I do have to say though that given the fact that I am in Sport Plus, and you know, with the Sport Plus I do have the suspension set up in Sport Plus, so it's in the stiffest mode. It's very, very, very comfortable. Now let's not forget that that noise that you get in the background, you could turn it off, but it is sort of like an option that you get with a turbo as well, and it is included in this particular vehicle. Yeah, so if I really want to pass somebody, there's no problem whatsoever. And I tried to pass him while I was actually taking the turn. No worries whatsoever. Like I said before, it's very confidence inspiring. I'm not afraid it's gonna give out on me or anything like that. So if I were to compare this, let's say, to the Tesla Model S Plaid, I definitely prefer this a million times more. Also because in terms of the handling aspects and the dynamics, much better. It's still an EV, so it doesn't compare to a sports car. But if you were to compare it to another EV sedan like the Model S Plaid that I've driven, this is way better. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this quick review of the Porsche Taycan Turbo. As you guys have seen, the Turbo is way quicker than the base Taycan. Very, very impressive in terms of its general dynamics. So if you guys want to take a look at this car, it is available for sale. I want to give a huge thanks to Aston Martin of Orlando for allowing me to review this car that they have in their inventory. And like I said, if you guys are interested in this, I'll put the link in the description below. It is available for sale. If I was looking for an EV, I'd probably go for something like this myself. So as always guys, I wanted to thank you once again for all the views, the likes, and for anything at all, please feel free to comment below. Please provide any comments in terms of what you'd like to see in the future. Feeling way better now than I did last week. My apologies that I didn't upload anything, but I was feeling definitely under the weather. So yeah, that's basically it guys. Thank you very much once again, and I'll see you guys on the next one. All right, thanks, take care.